everybody, we're out here today in the tomato patch, and I'm going to talk to you a little bit about using the Florida weave to trellis your tomatoes. The Florida weave I was initially not really a fan of when we tried it before, and that's because I wasn't using the right materials or the right technique. And so since then I've been able to look at a couple of other farmers and the way they were doing it, and I was able to adjust my technique and the materials that I was using. So the Florida weave is a great technique to have when you have mini tomato plants. So we are growing 2 varieties of tomatoes this year, and we have 40 plants. So using this method will actually save us money as far as individual tomato cages or anything like that. So this method works really good for an abundance of tomato plants, keeping them all trellised. Here's an up-close look at what the Florida weave looks like. You can see how the tomatoes trellis up in between the strands of baling twine. And this works really well because we have very high substantial winds up in northern Colorado, and this has done a great job of keeping our tomatoes up and sturdy and not sprawling all over the floor. So we've been very happy with this method. So farm husband and I are going to go ahead and grab the materials, and we'll show you how it's done. So to do the Florida weave, the first thing we do is we take our baling twine and we're going to tie it off here to the first post. When we come this way, when you get to your next post, you wrap it around twice, keeping it as taut as possible. Continue on to the next post, wrap it around twice, keeping it taut, and we're going to keep going down the length of the row here. When you get to the very end, keeping it taut, you're going to wrap it around twice, and then you're going to come back around on the other side of the post and start over again, doing the same thing, wrapping it around twice, coming to the next post. And you're going to see it creates this gap right here for the tomatoes to actually grow up between. So after installing this, I just come through and I just make sure that all the tomatoes are getting in the trellis. And so we have to add a trellis about every 3 weeks, I would say. We add another level. And you can see some of them aren't growing quite fast enough, but it's a great way to keep your tomatoes trellised, especially in the high winds up here in northern Colorado.